You like me lobster though, Winslow? Say it. Damn ye, Winslow. Well, hello and welcome to this Tuesday's MBE Movie News. I just can't stop saying MBE. Welcome to Movie News. It's Tuesday and I'm John and I'm here to speak about movie news. To be quite frank, there's been a whole lot of movie news swirling around on the various news websites. All of it though is about a lizard and an ape, and I have not got a fucking clue about Godzilla, so I'm not going to speak about Godzilla right at the start of the show. I've buried it at the end of the show. It will be the final topic I will speak about. Instead, I'm going to be speaking about another topic I've not got a clue about, but I'm going to do my best to speak about it. It's about Borderlands, and it's about Kevin Hart, and this man is set to star in the upcoming Eli Roth movie alongside some pretty stellar talent. Cate Blanchett, as I like to call her. I says it all just to cover all the bases, really, because we know over in America they like to say Dune instead of June, and sword instead of shord, and schedule and all of that, yada yada yada. Moving on, it's coming in from Variety, and it's as you can see, Kevin Hart to star alongside Cate Blanchett in Borderlands. And look, this is interesting. He's going to be playing Roland, as they say here, a skilled ex-soldier turned mercenary. From what I've gathered, I was 15 to 20 minutes late doing the show, and most of that was spent drinking a protein shake and reading up on the history of Roland in Borderlands. I actually watched an 11-minute long video on YouTube just so I could brush up. I had played the first Borderlands game. I've not played the subsequent releases 2 and 3, but I will get round to it. By all accounts, Roland's a very intricate, integral part of the team, of the story. I'm not going to spoil what happens to him. Needless to say, he has an impactful moment in this story. So this is a huge role for Kevin Hart to sink his teeth into. This isn't a side character by any means, played for laughs, like what we've perhaps seen in the Jumanji movies. And look, he does it so well. He's the perfect sort of foil to Dwayne Johnson's character in those movies. He's a perfect foil to Dwayne, period. Dwayne's this big, towering, 6'3", majestic beast of a man, and Kevin's a slightly shorter 5'3", equally beastly, muscular man, and they just play off each other so well. But so that's all right when that works, but we need to see more from Kevin Hart. This guy's a very funny man. We know he's a comedian, and he has played in some very interesting movies, and this is a new direction for him. We'll see what he can do, playing a very meaty role and a very interesting. We know in recent years that it's been all the rage, the video game adaptations. We've had Lara Croft Tomb Raider twice, the obviously Angelina Jolie one, and most recently Alicia Vikander. That's just been greenlit, a sequel. We've got Uncharted coming up with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. That looks fantastic. And of course we've had some poorer ones like Rampage, and we've got Mortal Kombat coming out soon as well. They are very excited about doing these adaptations. Sonic the Hedgehog's another one. And in the main, they've been pretty decent in recent times. So I am sincerely hoping that this will be like the recent very good video game adaptations, and not like the horrific Mario and Luigi style ones from the 1990s, which were terrible, god awful. I have high hopes for this because it's Eli Roth. I've been watching this guy for many, many years. That sounds very creepy. That sounds like Steve Merchant from Extras. I've been watching you secretly from afar. That's not what I meant at all. I meant I've been watching his projects, his movies for many, many years. Grindhouse, all the way back in 2007. Stephen, fellow movie burner, lent me the double matinee, would you call it? Sort of release that had Death Proof and Grindhouse as a double feature. That was Eli Roth. That was a zombie action movie. This isn't zombie, but it is post-apocalyptic sort of setting. It's action. It's balls to the wall. It's going to be crazy. And you get a sense of what he can do in that setting, in a grindhouse kind of movie. Of course, he's been more keen to dabble in the horror genre in the last decade or so. He's not really been doing. I mean, he's worked on shorts all the way back to 1994, but looking at his IMDb, you can see it's only really been in the last 20 years that he's been doing movies. He's worked more prolifically as an actor and a producer, but he's dabbled in the horror sort of genre more. Death Wish, obviously The House with the Clock in its Walls was a child movie, but it had horror elements, so much so that kids were running out of the theatres crying. This guy's dabbled in whole lots of things. I'm excited about this adaptation. I think he's got the right tools in his toolbox to make this a very interesting movie. And of course, the most important part of a movie is the script. And if you're attracting a calibre of actor like Cate Blanchett, then it must have something going for it. And of course, Kevin Hart is not a man needing of money or needing for money. He can pick and choose his scripts now. There must be something very meaty, very interesting in this script. And of course, it's Lionsgate as well. So it's got a lot going for it, this movie. I'm excited, man. I don't know what's going on here. Incidentally, I've just realised that for the entire time I've been speaking here, there we go. Oh, no. The entire time I've been speaking, and it's been a sizable amount of time. It's been about 3 minutes or something. I've had the live studio thing overviewing the stream on instead of my actual self. So fucking terrible, man. What a start to the show. I forgot to change it. It's usually on Stephen. He's captured via Discord over in that monitor, and yeah, I'm not used to doing it. But look, I'm going to move on. There you go. I've kind of spoiled it. I'll go back to myself. Way. Oh, what a shambles of a show this has been so far. I'm excited for this movie. I'm excited to see Cate Blanchett. I'm excited to see Kevin Hart playing Roland, and hoping and sort of. I don't even know what I was going to say. A terrible saying. I butcher sayings all the time. I'm hoping in my heart of hearts it's going to be a good adaptation. But look, moving on. Raya and the Last Dragon. It gets a second trailer. It gets a very, very interesting little poster as well. I've not been keeping up in the developments of this movie in recent times. By all accounts, it is going to be going straight to Disney Plus. Not really a surprise, is it? It's pandemic time. It's still raging. Certainly here in Europe and the United Kingdom. I think we're officially one of the worst performing countries now on the planet at handling COVID. Theatres aren't opened. No chance of making money in the next 6 months or so from a theatrical release. So it makes sense that a movie of this ilk, which is a smaller movie in the grand scheme of things from the Disney machine, it's no surprise that this movie is going straight to Disney Plus. It's going to be a similar setup to Disney's Mulan. It's going to be a premium VOD setup. I'll actually go down and actually check what the jargon is they're using. Load of shit that it is. Premier Access. As you can see, it's going to cost the same $29.99 as Disney's Mulan. I'll get into why I think that is perhaps not a great idea. Just consistent pricing across the board, depending, regardless of what the movie is. I think they should do something different with that. Think a little bit more inventively. But we'll get that poster. I think I reacted to the first trailer. I don't know if I put the reaction out, but it was an intriguing little trailer. It seems like a very nice Disney original animated movie. And look, I've seen widespread debate about the merits of Pixar since they were merged into the Disney company, and how they have perhaps not reached the heady heights of what they used to accomplish since they've been part of Disney. And in actual fact, the Disney standalone animated movies have probably outperformed the Disney Pixar movies in recent times. And it looks as though that could be the case again. We had Soul come out. It was an okay movie. This looks a slightly more intriguing little release. It's colourful. It's fantastical. It's got that sort of Asian inspiration in it again. Hot on the heels of Mulan. And I've liked the first trailer. I've yet to see the second trailer. I've been a very busy boy today, doing weight training, walking like hell, looking after my dogs, setting this show up. But I'm going to watch it. I may even react to it and fire it out, although based on the performance of that Godzilla versus Kong reaction, I don't know if I want to be doing that. That was just a disaster. Absolute disaster. 70 odd people watching that reaction is just a joke these days to us. So I don't know what's going on there. Perhaps YouTube are absolutely screwing us over with the algorithm. I don't know. But yeah, it's Kelly Marie Tran's in there. There's a couple of interesting things happening in this movie, and just nice to see Disney not being rigid and traditionalist in their releasing format, if you like. They're not sticking to the tried and tested formula of waiting for it coming out in the theatres, like we've seen with MGM and obviously Bond, No Time to Die, gets delayed again and again and again. Of course they are doing that with their big releases, Black Widow, but nice to see they're giving the fans some content in what has been a very barren spell for movie releases, unless you're a Netflix subscriber like I am and they just churn it out again and again and again. What I will say, I'll get back to the pricing scheme. I don't think it's the correct decision to use that $29.99 pricing I can't think of any other word to say it. It's the wrong decision, I think, to be consistently using that same high price point, regardless of which movie is hitting this streaming service in a Premier Access. That was okay for Mulan. It was well promoted. It was a big release. People were excited for it. Kind of get mixed response in terms of the actual reviews, critical response, actual fan response. I've yet to actually watch Mulan. I bought it. I paid for the rental, or the actual purchase, and I've still not even watched it. I'm concerned that $29 rental price point will put people off actually wanting to go and watch this movie. I'll get a comment in here: oversaturated trailer. Man, only the big channels will benefit. Exactly. Exactly. The Real Rejects and Cyber Nerds and all of the usual faces who react to these big trailers, they get ridiculous views. I think Real Rejects have got 600,000 views on the fucking trailer. It's unbelievable. It's like, give us some views there, come on, you've got enough. And then they put out an Easter egg video after it and it gets 70,000, 80,000 views. It's like, come on, Gregory, let's go, my man. Come on, give us some of the small channels a chance, please. But listen, I say that, see if I was the Real Rejects, I'd be doing the exact same thing, man. So I can't even blame them. But yeah, slightly concerned that may put people off watching this. I don't know if I'll even I don't know if I'll wait until later on to actually consume this movie or whether, because as we do know, infamously Mulan went to Amazon Prime at a cheaper rental price and they get more content. So I may actually wait off watching this movie until it hits some of the other streaming services, which I am also a subscriber to. So yep. Oh no, just thought I'd fling that in there. An interesting little movie. And I'm slightly excited for it on some level. But I'm going to move on to the third topic. The Real Rejects have the personality of a potato. That's your words, not mine. That's your words. I don't mind them. I don't mind the Real Rejects, man. I tell you what, I don't even know who the little bearded guy is, the skinnier guy. Greg Alba, Ryan Wright, is it? Not, I know it's Greg Alba, that's his real name. But the other guy, he is incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to movies. Unbelievable. I used to watch the Schmodown on Collider back in the day. This guy tore it up, man. Unbelievable knowledge in movies, so he knows his shit. So I don't mind the Real Rejects, man. They're okay. It's just some of the decision making at time though is very questionable, to say the least. Releasing a video about Chadwick Boseman dying like 5 minutes after it's been announced. Fucking no. Come on. What are you doing? But look, moving on swiftly, I'm going to move on to No Time to Die. Might just need reshoots. This is coming in from Cinema Blend. Little sip of the good stuff, I am brew, man. Best drink on the planet. It's coming in from Cinema Blend. No Time to Die may have to go in for reshoots for a very unique reason. Now, I'm not going to hang around in this article. Needless to say, the reason is that it's for technology, if I can speak, reasons. Obviously, they get promotions, the sponsorships from companies like Nokia and other technology companies that deal with phones and other things that they can product place into the movie and try and churn out more sales on the back of. And they suggest that because this movie could very well be 2 years old by the time it comes out and finally hits theatres, that may present a problem because the products they have placed in this movie for promotional, for advertisement reasons, will be out of date. People will be running around with these mobile phones and these other devices now. And they suggest that could be a real issue. What is this? I've not even read this actually. So prepared. The details of the gadgets and things are all kept tightly under wraps, but everyone knows that James Bond always carries the latest kit with him. The problem is that some of the things that were the very latest models back when they started filming. I can't. My mind's going blank here, man. I'm reading and it's kind of making sense, but I'm going to go back over that one more time. The problem is that some of these things were the very latest models back when they started filming, but by the time the movies come out now, it will look like Daniel Craig and all the other cast members are carrying something that has been out for ages. Well, tough titty. Stop putting a huge price point on the movie. It could have been on Netflix 6 months ago, so it's your fault. And I'll get into it in a moment. I'll have my rant, don't worry about it. This isn't really the point of these deals. The big tech firms want the stars to have all the new up-to-date, up-and-coming products to help promote them and sell them to the fans. That means some of these scenes are going to have to be very carefully edited and look to bring things up to date. Are you for real? Are you for real, man? You're going to go back and reshoot these movies at the cost of perhaps tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, just to insert the latest phone model into the movie? Who gives a shit about phone models? I'm here to see James Bond wrecking people. I'm here to see Rami Malek as perhaps Dr. No, Safin, whatever he's masquerading as. I'm here to see the likes of Christoph Waltz and people like that in here. I don't give a shit about the latest phones and technology. Why would I? Don't be so utterly ridiculous. I hope they don't even contemplate doing this, man. Screw Nokia. They're a dead brand anyway. Who gives a shit about Nokia, man? They've not been relevant in about 20 years since that brick phone that used to survive plane drops and stuff like that. Not a chance should you be doing this, man. It's utterly preposterous to even contemplate getting back. And look, they signed deals to get the products in the movie. It's in the movie. It's just out of date. Who gives a shit? And Tough Titty, man, as I says again, to MGM, they've backed themselves into a corner with this one. They could have released this movie a long, long time ago, and it could have been time to move on to a new Bond. They're continually delaying it, and we're delaying the announcement of the next Bond. Daniel Craig is done and dusted as Bond, man. He's off to pastures now, doing new things. I want to see the next James Bond, be it Richard Madden, Sam Heughan, Idris Elba, this other guy that's floating around. I don't give a shit, but get it announced, get this movie out and get it done with, man. And I'm not the biggest Bond fan, so I had in that little caveat. So people like Alan Partridge-esque people, and that wasn't even English. Alan Partridge-esque people who are obsessed with Bond, man, and they're running around with Sunny Delight and things like that. Yeah, they people can do whatever the hell they want. I don't give a shit. But look, I digress. Let's move on to the next topic. A franchise I actually do care about. I grew up watching this. I read the books. I done everything. I had the games, the lot. And I'm very interested in this new Harry Potter role-playing game that's coming out as well. It's an MMO. I don't even know if it is an online one, but that is very intriguing looking as well. I may have to dip the toes into that once I've bought my new graphics card, if indeed I ever buy a new graphics card, man. Yeah, I've got a 2070 there now. I think I will look to upgrade that at some point, man, because I'm a lunatic. I'm never happy with what I've got. But that aside, let's move on to this, man. It's stories, and it's not even that article. I did use that one in the description, but fuck is going on here, man? There we go. That was the one I was looking for. Stories that they could perhaps look to adapt for the up-and-coming HBO Max Harry Potter TV show, and there's a wide array of very interesting stories that they could divulge on for this TV show, and it'll probably be none of these because JK will look to pen some fantastical bullshit new thing with new characters that no one really cares about, and it'll be none of these. But look, man, I'm going to look into it anyway. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, of course, the sequel to the events of the Harry Potter movies. It's the kids. It's Severus Potter, or whatever the hell he called them. I think I'm pretty sure it was Severus. And yeah, Albus Severus Potter. All of them, the sort of sequel story, that would be interesting. I'd like to see that perhaps looked into. Whether they want to use that for a TV show is another thing entirely, though. I presume they would want to perhaps save that for the movies at some point in the next 10 years. If they could get Daniel Radcliffe back, if they could get Rupert Grint back, and Lord knows he wants to come back, Tom Felton, Emma Watson, all of the gang can come back. Why not save that for the movies, the big screen experience? I think they will. Harry Potter the Order, again, that's all hinging on Daniel Radcliffe wanting to come back. Is he really going to come back to play Harry Potter in a HBO Max TV show when he's doing Broadway and interesting little projects? I don't think so. Not just now anyway. I think he would like to wait until he was bordering on middle-aged before he stepped into the middle-aged Harry Potter role. The guy's like my age. I think he's like 31, 30. So he's too young for that just now. And he's in a nice place just now in his career as well. He spoke about the alcoholism and the effects of playing this character, what it had done to him, people intruding in his personal space and stuff like that. I don't think he's quite ready to come into that, but it would be interesting to see that at some point if he was up for it. The ins and outs of him being an Auror, essentially a special forces police in the magic world, the wizard world. I'd be up for that. The Order of the Phoenix, now this is the one that I would absolutely be game for and want to see. This is the OG Order of the Phoenix, the likes of Sirius Black and... Is it James Potter? Was that his dad's name? I'm going to look down the list. It was James Potter, yes. It's been a long time since I've read the books. I've read them about 3 times as well. I should know this stuff. I really should. But Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, James Potter, there you go, Frank Longbottom, I can't speak. All of these OG Order of the Phoenix members fighting against Voldemort and his initial sort of stint as evil wizard trying to kill everybody. That would be an amazing TV show, man. if they can cast that right and get the right people in, my God, that would be absolutely fantastic. And look, man, I don't know how it would even work out for us, if it would even be something we'd get access to. We don't have HBO Max over here in the United Kingdom, so it may be something that would find its way onto Sky or something. I mean, I'm subscribed to Sky over here. I'm subscribed to everything. Christ, man. I'd be interested in seeing that, absolutely. The Marauders is another one. And of course, that is a group of Hogwarts students, as they do say. They have a special talent for breaking in. And again, that is essentially his Harry Potter's father and his group of friends, the likes of Peter Pettigrew, Sirius Black, and all of the OG sort of gang from that timeline. Again, you'd have a young Severus Snape floating around. You'd have some interesting things going on. It would be a period piece. It's slightly disconnected from the movies we've seen, but it has that tiny little thread of connection. That's something I'd be up for. I'd definitely like to see that. That'd be my first two. I'd want to see the Order of the Phoenix first and Marauders second. The Lord Voldemort's backstory, I'm not really interested in Lord Voldemort. We've been there and we've done it. We had little flashbacks to this guy in the movies. Numerous. We had Ralph Fiennes' brilliant performance. I don't really want to see more of that. It's kind of like the Emperor and Darth Vader. People keep yearning for Darth Vader standalone movies, for Emperor standalone movies. I'm going to contradict myself. I'd like to see the Emperor with Tom Hiddleston. Darth Vader, no. When you have an oversaturated villain, you don't want to see more of it. And I've no interest in seeing how this guy rose, because I've read about it. I know his backstory. But the Gaunt family, I think it's the Gaunt family who are linked to Voldemort. That other article I had up spoke about them, and that is a very fascinating story. The actual House of Gaunt, and all of these Slytherin, Salazar Slytherin, and all the things going on there, the heritage, everything. That'd be an amazing TV show. That would be many, many, many seasons. So they have options, is what I'm saying. They have a multitude of options. Hopefully JK greenlights a pre-established story, and we get something like the Order of the Phoenix coming onto HBO Max with characters we all love from the TV, from the movies, and it's not some new thing, and it's just shite. I want to see one of them, preferably Marauders or Order of the Phoenix. But look, I'm going to move on. I've done that to death. I've spoke too long on that subject, that topic, if you'd like. I'm going to move on to this one. Shang-Chi, to be the moral centre of the MCU. I have pondered down in that graphic, and I've pondered that very specific wording down in the graphic, quite frankly, because I had no other way to word it. I was trying to get this in, and I just could not find a way to get that in to that tiny little graphic down the bottom, so I had to get inventive, and that was the best I could come up with. But the general gist of it is this. It's a quote from, who is it coming from? Is it Simu Liu who has said this? I don't know who it said it. I think it's Simu Liu. I'm going to have to read it on this monitor here, because my camera's obscuring me. I guess it's going to come down to what the movie people decide to do about him. They have a lot of choices with Shang-Chi, and that's how I pronounce it, Shang. Is that not how you pronounce it anyway? Is it not Shang? There's not really any other way you can pronounce it. A strange thing to say there. They had a lot of possibilities with him that I think they are really kind of interesting. With the departure of Captain America, Chris Evans' character, the Marvel Universe is without a moral centre. Well, he's not gone yet. I spoke about it before. He could be coming back, and sincerely, fingers crossed, hope that he does come back. He was always acting as that part. Shang-Chi, on the other hand, what's going on here? This isn't English. Even he's an assassin, even though I think you should be saying there, he's an assassin to start off with. Moral character. At least Englehart and I created, worked with him, and I think that most writers fell after that, so he may be in some way Captain America's replacement in the Marvel Universe. I'd love to see this. I said it before, this is why I was very intrigued by the character of Shang-Chi and his introduction into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because he is, in many ways, quite similar to Steve Rogers. He's a man out of time. Not in the sense that Steve Rogers is literally a man out of time, frozen in ice, thawed out, 70, 80 years behind. Simu Liu's Shang-Chi would be a man out of time in the sense that he is out of sync with the North American characters, the Avengers. The likes of Thor, he's out of time as well. I suppose he's a god from space. But he's coming from the Far East. He's coming into an alien landscape. He's a man out of time in a sense. We've got another thing here. Another comment here, I've just seen it pop up. Oh, we've got two comments. We've got one from Twitch as well. I do apologise, I didn't see that. HBO Max is trying to kill that rumour because it's not true. Oh, I hope not. Nah, that'd be shit. I've just wasted 5 minutes of my life speaking about that, man. I sincerely hope it's true. I seen that though. I did see they were kind of trying to squash it. I hope we get more Harry Potter content, man. She's got that IP with those movies. They've been done and dusted for what, 10 years now. We've got the Fantastic Beasts movies. They've been meh. And of course the Johnny Depp nonsense. We've got Mads Mikkelsen, the Great, coming back. He's never been there, coming in to play Grindelwald. Gellert Grindelwald, I can't speak tonight. There's so much potential for that franchise. I don't know why they're not utilising it more and more. I think Peter Parker Spider-Man would have been first choice as the moral compass after Captain America, but Sony could pull the rug at any point they could. And that is the trouble with that Peter Parker Spider-Man deal. And it's why we need to get some... I mean, I think I read somewhere that they'd renewed the deal, though. That there's more movies now in that deal. And that they'd come to some agreement. I've not seen any official confirmation of that anywhere else, though. It was a couple of weeks back, a month back or something. But it's just that it's a rolling contract. Every 2-3 movies. It doesn't give you that foundation to go further afield with this character and do something interesting with it. Make him a linchpin in the MCU. Of course, he did get handed the glasses. They were a sort of passing of a baton moment for Tony Stark. From Tony Stark to Peter Parker. Peter Parker could be the moral compass because the guy doesn't kill, doesn't he? That's his sort of... He's the Batman of the MCU. He doesn't kill, so he's a goody two-shoes. He's a sort of innocent as well. He's a young guy. He's got a pureness about him. But look, man, if they don't do that, if they can't have that stability, the foundation to utilise Peter Parker Spider-Man, then I'm all for Shang-Chi. Because as I did say, I think I get sidetracked like hell. He's a man out of time. He has a lot of similarities to Chris Evans. And he's got that sort of moral compass. His dad was a mobster, sort of leader of a criminal underworld over in China, I think it is. And he's got links to MI6 and stuff like that. He's come out of that environment and he wants to prove himself to be a good man, to be a righteous man. So, man, they have to do something with this character because he's not godlike. He's not a superhero. He's a hero. So we need this guy to be something. He has to have his place in this universe. Just like Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, had her place in the universe. She wasn't a superhero with God-given ability, but she was the sort of mother, emotional figure. She had ties to Hulk, to Hawkeye, to all these characters. She was holding the fort together during the snap-out sort of years when everyone was gone. So we need to do something similar with this character because he's such a charismatic, likeable guy. Simu Liu, we can't just let this character just be another Hawkeye, and that's not being disrespectful to Jeremy Renner. I love Jeremy Renner, man, but it's just he's there, and that's it. It's not really that interesting. They've done something interesting with him in Endgame, of course, but that aside, he was a bit shit. He had a bow and arrow, and it never ran out of arrows, and that's almost like video game-esque shit, man. It was like Legolas. Where the hell are these arrows coming from? At least Legolas took them out of things, but look, I digress, man. Moving on. I says I'd speak about Godzilla v Kong. And I have. I'm going to speak about Godzilla v Kong. I says at the start of the show I've not got a fucking clue about Godzilla. And I've reiterated that I have not got a clue about Godzilla. There is years upon years worth of storytelling. I think it's Japanese, man. Even now I'm not sure. And I know there is a fervent fan base who absolutely love this. Stephen found that out a couple of years ago when we reacted to the King of the Monsters, not the Clash of the Titans as I called it, on my reaction last night. Just as well no one's watched it because I'd get absolutely destroyed for that comment. He found out to his peril, he slagged Godzilla off and people were coming for him, man. They wanted to kill him. So I know there's a fan base there who know the intricacies of this character. I'm certainly not one of them, though. But look, they are saying in this nice little article from Digital Spy, basically questioning what is going on with this giant lizard, because he's got anger management issues. He's trying to wreck people. He's trying to kill people. He's wrecking whole cities, and they are questioning why he's doing this. Why is this lizard, this titan who was trying to save humanity, who was fighting for them in the last 2 movies, now trying to kill them? And in short, I'm not even going to read through the whole article because it's long and winded. In short, they're suggesting that it could be several things. It could be he's been controlled by some other entity, some other group for nefarious means, and that we will see Mechagodzilla coming in to try and face off against him. And there is other interesting things at play in this movie, and that perhaps they are lying when they say that one of them must fall. And I says that a couple of days ago, that they were talking absolute shit, that there was not a chance in God's green earth that either of these characters were dying, because they are too precious. They are box office, man. You put a Godzilla or a King Kong in a movie, you're guaranteed to make some amount of money on it. So you'd be cannibalising your own profits by killing one off. So they're suggesting that Mecha Godzilla could come in to fight the threat of Godzilla, who is being controlled by some organisation or something, and that could ultimately lead to Kong and Godzilla teaming up to bring down Mecha Godzilla. I'd love to see that, man. I'm excited about this movie despite my lack of knowledge on it. I wasn't so excited for The King of the Monsters because I just thought it was over, how shall I put it, bloated, too much going on, too many characters. It felt discombobulated from the get-go. The trailers were cool, the music was cool. It ultimately didn't surprise me that it was discombobulated and a bit of a cluster F, if you know what I mean. This one looks different. There's two big towering titan figures going head to head, and that's always interesting if it's done right. It looks better. The CGI looks amazing. You've got the human scale thing where they're carrying the sort of emotive side of the story. I'm very excited for this, man. I'm looking forward to seeing if Mecha Godzilla is in there. I think he is. We've seen it in the trailer, little snippets of him. And if he does lend himself into this storyline and we see these two towering figures who are battering lumps out of each other ultimately coming together and working as a cohesive unit. But look, time will tell, man. I have not got a clue. Time will tell when it comes out. But that's going to round the show up. I am done speaking. I've been speaking for how long? 32 minutes, if my geriatric 90-year-old eyes are not deceiving me. And that's quite enough. So I'm going to pass it over to anybody who's perhaps been watching after this live show, maybe watching afterwards. What's your thoughts on Kevin Hart starring in this Borderlands movie, this Eli Roth adapted movie, directed movie I should say, alongside Cate Blanchett? Is that something that excites you? What is your thoughts on it? Do you think he can do well as whatever the hell that character was? I forgot already. Roland. As Roland. What is your thoughts on that? You can comment down below. What do you make about Shang-Chi being the moral compass of the MCU, sans Steve Rogers? What do you make about Godzilla v Kong? What the hell's going on with Godzilla? Is he being controlled? Will he team up with Kong against Mecha Godzilla? If you get anything to say, you can comment down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it. And you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this on YouTube. Hit the follow button on Twitch if you're watching over there to see more content. And if you do, that's what you'll get more content. I'll be back with Stephen tomorrow for another movie news. We'll be doing reviews of WandaVision, perhaps even The White Tiger as well. But look, until then, I'm going to bid you farewell, man. Bye-bye.